Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so you've probably heard a lot about stablecoins lately.
They're definitely buzzing.
Right. But there's this really interesting NBER working paper suggesting they're doing a lot more than just being digital money.
Yeah, it argues they're actually reshaping global finance pretty profoundly.
And even, impacting our own consumption volatility, personally. So today, we want to really get into that paper.
Unpack those findings, yeah.
What are the surprises here? How do these digital things affect, well, all of us?
It is pretty striking, isn't it, how something built for, stability within crypto
Yeah, in that volatile world.
ends up sending these big ripples through traditional finance.
That's exactly it. We all know Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Yeah.
They can go up and down like crazy. Stablecoins are supposed to be, well, stable.
That's the claim.
So what actually makes them stable? And I guess, are they?
Well, the design goal is definitely to minimize those wild swings, usually by pegging them often to the US dollar. And they are growing incredibly fast. I mean, the numbers are something like $220 billion market value in 2025.
Wow.
Projected to hit $2 trillion by 2028. That's potentially more than some countries hold in U.S. treasuries.
Okay, so that's definitely not niche anymore. That's like systemically relevant.
Exactly.
So how does that peg actually work? How do they keep it tied to the dollar?
Good question. There are basically two main methods right now.
Okay.
Some, like Tether or USDC, they're backed one-to-one. They hold actual dollar reserves or things very close to dollars.
Right, so for every digital dollar, there's a real dollar somewhere.
Supposedly, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that mechanism, it naturally boosts demand for those dollar assets.
Makes sense. What's the other way?
Others use crypto itself as collateral, but they over-collateralize. Think MakerDAO's DAI.
Over-collateralize, meaning they lock up more value in crypto than the stablecoins they issue.
Precisely. So if the collateral drops in value, there's still enough buffer. These tend to act more like substitutes for traditional dollars rather than directly demanding them.
Interesting distinction.
And the NBER paper says which type becomes dominant, the reserve-backed or the crypto-backed, really changes the whole global financial impact. It's a crucial point.
Okay, and this NBER paper also talks about this concept of the digital economy, DECO, they call it.
Yeah, DECO.
What exactly is that? Is it just like the internet?
Not quite.
Yeah.
Think of it more as this distinct economic space built on blockchain. No borders, really, where digital services are created and traded using crypto tech.
Okay, borderless, blockchain-based economy.
Right. And this DECO interacts with our regular traditional financial system.
So how does that interaction work? The paper mentions two channels, right? Driven by more people just getting used to digital assets.
Exactly. Two key forces. First is what they call the financial demand channel.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward. More people want stable coins, especially those dollar-backed ones.
Right.
That directly increases demand for the actual U.S. dollars or equivalents needed to back them.
Okay, channel one, more demand for dollars. What's two?
Channel two is the real demand channel. This is about the DECO itself. As people consume more of these digital services, these D-goods, the value of the underlying crypto used to produce them, like Ether for computation.
Like digital fuel.
Kind of, yeah. Its value goes up. So the people in the DECO get wealthier.
And wealthier people.
They tend to issue more stablecoins, maybe borrowing against their increased crypto wealth.
Okay, so both channels are driving stablecoin growth, but one pulls in real dollars, the other is more internal to the digital world.
Sort of, yeah. But here's the surprising part. The paper highlights for the long run.
Which is?
The financial demand channel, the one pulling in real dollars, ends up being stronger. It dominates.
So wait, more demand for dollars globally. What does that actually mean for the U.S. economy? You'd think maybe it challenges the dollar's dominance, but...
Counterintuitively, no. The paper suggests it actually leads to a long-run fall in U.S. interest rates.
Lower rates.
Yeah.
Because there's so much demand for dollar assets.
Yeah, exactly. And it means greater U.S. foreign borrowing. It effectively reinforces that exorbitant privilege the U.S. has.
The ability to borrow cheaply from the rest of the world.
That's the one. So instead of eroding U.S. financial power, this digital wave through stablecoins might actually be strengthening it.
Wow, okay. That is definitely not what I would have expected.
It's the key takeaway.
So, bringing it back to the individual, what does this mean for you, the listener? For your own sort of financial stability, your consumption volatility?
Well, the impacts are quite different depending on where you sit.
How so?
For people in the U.S., the model suggests individual consumption volatility actually goes up.
Why?
Because the U.S. as a whole
Hmm.
becomes more leveraged globally.
Mm-hmm.
It's borrowing more from abroad, relying more on that inflow. That creates more potential instability at home.
Okay, so more macro borrowing means potentially bumpier rides for individuals in the U.S. What about elsewhere?
For the rest of the world, especially folks who get comfortable using the digital economy, consumption volatility tends to decrease.
Decrease. That's interesting. Why the opposite effect?
Because access to stablecoins gives them a new tool. They can shift their savings into these dollar-pegged assets, potentially earning higher returns than local options, maybe on fixed income-like assets within the DECO, leading to a less volatile net worth overall. More stable savings, smooths consumption.
So it's a stabilizing force for them.
Potentially, yes. But then there are the DECO agents themselves, the creators, the builders within that digital economy.
What happens to them?
Their consumption volatility also rises.
Rises. Even though they're getting wealthier from D-goods demand?
Yeah, because their wealth becomes much more tied to their current earnings from those digital services, which can be inherently risky and fluctuate.
Less tied to just holding potentially appreciating crypto assets, more tied to volatile business income within the DECO.
Exactly. More reliant on current, possibly unstable income streams.
So this has been a fascinating dive. It really shows the digital economy's expansion isn't simple. It offers benefits, sure, cheaper digital services, easier access to safe, dollar-like assets globally.
Definite upsides.
But the effects, especially on stability, are really unevenly spread out.
Absolutely. The U.S., the rest of the world, the DECO participants,
Yeah.
they experience it very differently.
Which leads us to the final thought. Stablecoins might smooth things out for many around the world, which sounds great. But
Yep.
are we really ready as a global financial system for potentially more consumption volatility hitting people in the U.S. and those building the digital economy itself?
That's the big question, isn't it? Something to definitely keep an eye on.